Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Beatles.
Beatles.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
The Edge or U2.
Julie Andrews.
Switchfoot.
Travis Barker.
Carrie Underwood.
Bon Jovi.
Elvis.
Eminem. Little Wayne.
Tchaikovsky.
Chopin.
Pink.
Jason Mraz.
Alice Cooper. Lady Gaga.
Don Fagan.
50 Cent. Barry White. Rihanna.
Pink Floyd.
Tone Deaf. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
It's just the first thing that came into my mind.
I have no idea. That was just the first name that came to mind.
It's pretty famous, at least in, our generation. And everybody grew up at least, hearing some of his songs.
Because she was so popular when we were young.
A lot of people know of her.
Everyone pretty much could recognize her. Everyone knows his music. She just was kind of around when I was growing up.
That was like one of the first artists that I started listening to. He's successful. I listen to his music a lot, and yeah, he's a pretty popular name.
I like their music, and I know in sort of the alternative scene, they're really well known.
Like my mom really likes Julie Andrews, and I remember growing up listening to her with my mom.
The first thing that came on the radio when I turned that on was Blink-182. And then this guy who taught me how to play music that just lived down the street was that was his idol too, and so we both kind of looked up to him, and he kind of just drew me into him.
Well, I love Pink Floyd because my dad loved Pink Floyd, and he got to meet them, and so it's been playing in my house ever since I was a baby. It's funny because I don't think I could tell you the names of the songs, but I think I know every lyric to all of them. It's just been a constant repeat.
Well, she's so talented.
Vocals and instruments.
I just really appreciate his artistic style and his whole composition.
And I really like his voice, and I think he's a classic.
He's like a musical genius in the works he puts together.
Pretty good writer. Kind of changed as they gotten older. They started more classic rock, and they switched blues and jazz stuff, which I like.
Because he can do absolutely everything and do it really well. He's able to, he makes his own music, and he can sing, and he can rap, and he can, he has all these different musical styles that he brings together, and it's kind of I don't know, there's just nobody I could else picture who can do the things that he does.
She's a great singer, and she's also involved in a lot of philanthropy and other types of activities.
She's really bold and crazy, and she's smart. She as weird as she is, the things she says, if you actually listen to her in an interview, she knows what she's talking about.
She always makes music, she performs, she helps produce and write, and she even breaks into the fashion world and music, and movies as well as music.
Because when he died, the whole world stopped.
It influenced society, his songs, they influenced pop culture as well as, the youth generations.
He had a billion top 40 hits. He's one of the best-selling American artists that I know of. His name is completely recognizable throughout the country and throughout the world.
Every style of music I listen to, the music that they draw from is music from U2.
It's part of a movement for European music in the United States. Influenced pop music a lot.
They changed a lot of things. I remember my teacher was talking about how before boys could never grow their hair out at all, and then when the Beatles came, suddenly every single person had that haircut. And they were talking about, there's this fun fact that how the Beatles actually had to stop touring for a while because even with custom-made sound equipment, their fans were screaming so loud that actually couldn't hear the music. So I feel once you've hit that level of your fans are so loud they actually can't even hear you, yeah, you're pretty iconic.
That was just a huge change in music. He was
like one of those big generational things that like everyone was talking about.
And then she's been around forever. So I feel like her long existence within the R&B world makes her an icon.
I'd go for some of the classics, maybe Johnny Cash, the ones which make history.
Whereas people like the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix and Michael Jackson, they've been gone for a while, but you always keep hearing about them, and they're still iconic even after like all these years.
All you need is love.
I don't know, it's not like this is hourly, this is like anybody can listen to it, but like at the same time there's like a lot of like deeper meaning that like I can connect with.
It's definitely representative of our generation.
There's always some sort of like message behind everything.
He kind of does his own thing without going with the mainstream. When I went to a concert, he cared more about the people at the concert than actually making money.
And all the tribute artists are the same way. They all have that same characteristic where they want to see the reaction of the fans. We go, we dance, we have a good time, and they love that and they appreciate that because when they do see us, they see a familiar face and it puts them so at ease, and they know it's going to be a good show, and they have a good time, and we have a good time. They do a good job of impersonating the king, but of course there was only one.
Hey! You can feel it in the air. You can just feel it. And then you go in there, and the warm-up band and the warm-up act, they're the best you've ever heard. The scenery, the lighting, it's the best you've ever seen. You've already seen the greatest show you've ever seen, and then out he comes.
I just think that Elvis had a major impact on pop culture, and people are going to remember that forever, and they're going to want to see that again. There's not really, I can't think of any modern figures that would even come close to being an Elvis figure.
We're caught in a trap. I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
He's just one of those people who have a magnetic personality and a charisma about him that if you see footage, or if you were lucky enough to see him live, people say it doesn't matter if you're an Elvis fan or not. You're just captivated by this presence, and I think that's what certain people in pop culture have over the rest of mainstream America, is that they're just so interesting or whatever that they just, I don't know, you just remember those people.
Dean Martin, when I grew up as a kid, there were icons in the music industry, guys that could do it all. Dean Martin was a star of movies. He had his own television series, hugely popular. He was a recording artist. And he had a nightclub act in Las Vegas. It's almost impossible to think of somebody who could do that now.
Oh, how lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fellow once said, ain't that a kick in the head? Hello everybody, how are you doing?
Oh, you just hope for that one little moment when you can feel it. You can just get a tiny feel of what it was like to be in the room with him.
That's what being a tribute artist really, there's a lot of satisfaction there, because there's a lot of tribute groups out there that are doing things for groups that are still alive and still touring, but when you got something that, Elvis has passed away, he he's not here to put on that live performance anymore. So when you can give even just a little bit of an illusion or a little taste of what that might have been, you know, that's what I feel my job is.
One more night is all I ask. Get that feeling, that old feeling,
I certainly view myself more as a performer. So I guess that would be more of an actor. You know, technically your voice is your instrument, but because the essence of Dean Martin lends itself to breaking out of the mold of just standing and, you know, crooning. You know, there's definitely performance and of an actor aspect in it.
marimba rhythm start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
Dean was was in the group of crooners. A lot of the guys back then would mimic guys like Harry Mills, Bing Crosby, with kind of a warbling vibrato, just a smooth kind of delivery.
There's been whatever mood I'm in, but it's almost like being in love.
He really made it big when he teamed up with Jerry Lewis and became one of the top comedy duos of all time, and he exceeded every expectation that anybody ever had.
I'm trying to relax on the sofa, watching a little television. Up from behind me, my pretty little wife comes up with a frying pan. Boom, hits me right in the back of the head. I said, what the hell's that for? She says, Dean, I was going through your pants pockets doing the laundry. I found a piece of paper with the name Dorothy on it. I said, honey, come on, I was at the racetrack yesterday. That was the name of the horse I bet on. All right, she left me alone. Next night, laying on the sofa, here she comes again, bang, with that frying pan, same spot, too. I said, what's that for? She says, your horse just called.
I like to be able to put a smile on somebody's face and say, wow, that might have been what a little bit of an Elvis concert would have been like.
As the snow flies on a cold and gray Chicago morning, a poor little baby child was born in the ghetto.
What a tribute to him that people wanted that they tried, you know, that they wanted to look and that they loved the music.
No, it's Dean. Remember the email from 1960? Nice. You broke the fourth wall. I don't believe it at all.
Called My Ding-a-ling. And that song beat out Burnin' Love for the #1 spot. But the ironic thing is that Chuck Berry's only #1 hit record was My Ding-a-ling. So we'll give him that one, right? You know, but in my eyes, Burnin' Love is it's much better musically. Chuck Berry's awesome. He's rock and roll. You know, he's one of the good old boys. He's still kicking and he's still doing shows. Anyways, Sorry, I like to talk. So. Ask the documentary girls over here.